We have a lot to talk about. First and foremost, welcome back, and let's get straight into the bread and butter of today's video, which is cannabis stocks in the United States. More specifically, let's talk about rescheduling. Yesterday, this happened.
To reclassify marijuana under the control.
We are considering that, yeah.
Okay. Are you planning?
Because a lot of people want to see it, the reclassification, because it leads to tremendous amounts of research that can't be done unless you reclassify. So we are looking at that very strongly.
So that snippet was taken directly from a conference from Monday, December 15th, where a reporter asked Donald Trump about rescheduling cannabis. And in the past, there have been questions asked to the president where the president was a little bit more passive. He deferred to other people around him to answer the question, but this time felt a little bit different. This time there was a little bit more conviction. He never questioned the problems that rescheduling cannabis would do. He immediately described the benefits of rescheduling, and you could tell in his demeanor and his voice. I am no expert on body language and communication, but I could clearly tell that he wants to reschedule and it's going to happen soon. And why this is such an amazing opportunity for investors, because of the opportunity this brings into an industry that has been destroyed for a very long time. And I actually cannot wait to see how this plays out. As somebody who's been sitting on the sidelines watching to see any more news come out about rescheduling, this right here was the biggest conviction I needed. There has been endless rumors about rescheduling, how people close to Trump are saying that it's gonna happen. And so a lot of the price action to these stocks, and more specifically MSOS, have been triggered because of these rumors. This right here was bigger than a rumor. This was a clear-cut answer that if you read between the lines, or if you just open your eyes and listen to what he said, you know that this is not an if, this is more of a when. Now that we know this is going to happen, how do we make money off of this play? So let's look at MSOS here on the daily time frame. Those of you who watched my video yesterday, I had mentioned that we needed to back test and not only hold, but we needed to test that 535, 540 range. And so I'm going to pull this actually to the hourly time frame to show you guys exactly what happened. I have not changed any of these lines. These lines have been here for a very long time. And it's beautiful when technical analysis works and you're able to predict things well into the future. So I call this technical heaven. I think this played out better than it possibly could have. Yesterday we closed at 535, which was our support. This was my line that we had to hold. There was no other option. If we broke past this line, this whole pattern would have crumbled. I believe it would have taken a lot longer for this pattern to play out. Today we needed to show strength, and we did. So we closed at 535, and today we closed at 645. So that is a huge gain that we saw. 20% gain that we saw today. I need you guys to keep in mind a few things. This gap right here that we see, this massive gap, from about 380 to about 470. This gap is going to come back, but I don't think it's going to come back anytime soon. Anytime there is a hype phase and anytime there is speculation in an industry and it's not based on fundamentals, it's more based on what people think is going to happen, we start to see a lot more volatile price action. And if you know how to utilize the volatility, it can be your friend, but you can also get burned by it. And so I want to go over a couple things that you guys should watch out for when you're trading MSOS. The first thing is, this is not an investment. I personally would not call this an investment. This is a trade, and this is a textbook trade. The cannabis industry will never be profitable. There might be one or two players of this whole MSOS space that will actually be profitable. The rest are all going to crumble. The rest will fail. There's too much competition. The supply of cannabis is very easy to access. And so right now is a time to capitalize on this hype. So I want to take you guys back to the first gap. The reason why I actually got into this trade was this gap right here at $6 and say 85 to 87 cents. This gap right here was the reason why I got into this stock. And when we see a gap, gaps don't necessarily get filled right away. That is the biggest thing that I have learned over time. Sometimes you get very antsy and you want to get into a play because you know the gap is going to fill, but sometimes it takes a very long time for the gap to fill. And so in this case, this gap to fill was in November of 2024. It is now December of 2025, and we are almost about to fill the gap. So it's been about a year since the previous gap to fill. And so now I think it's time to switch it up, and I think it's time for this chart to play out in the bullish direction. And I think now what we're going to see is a lot of volatility in the upward direction. And I think if we can sustain the momentum and the volume like we have been so far, I think the sky is the limit for MSOS. And so here, I personally want to see Donald Trump not sign the executive order just yet. I want to see some volatility. I want to see some jumps in price action. I want to see more opportunities, because this is a textbook buy the rumor, sell the news. Once Donald Trump makes the executive order, be careful with MSOS. MSOS could get to $10, could get to 20, 50, 100. I don't know where this is going to get to, but what I can tell you is after all the dust settles, this stock will get to that $3.80 range. When a stock goes up really fast. But when a stock drops, it takes a very long time. We call it a very slow bleed. And so what's going to start to happen is we're going to see massive spikes in volatility. We're going to see crazy percentage gains like we've seen the last few days. We had a 50% day, we had a 20% day. What ends up happening is there's going to be a lot of shakeouts. What I mean by shakeouts is when the price goes up 50%, some people are going to take profits. Some people are going to see the news and see a stock that went up 50%, and the next day they're going to buy into it. But that's when heavier money, bigger money is going to come, and they're going to short the stock a little bit to scare some people who will then sell the stock. And then the following day, or even in the same trading day, you'll see the recovery of the stock price happen. And so what you're going to start to see is a lot of volatility, a lot of shakeouts, a lot of weak hands being removed from the stock. I think the biggest takeaway we need to have from MSOS, from this rescheduling news, is that we're breaking out of a downtrend that's been happening for years. There's a gap to fill to the upside, and now we have a gap to fill on the downside. So this is screaming to me that in the next month, 2 months, maybe in the next week, we see crazy price action to the upside. Buy the rumor, sell the news. MSOS is not an investment. I'm going to say that again. This is not a good investment. This is a fantastic trade for the short term. We have incredible momentum, incredible catalysts, and we know definitively that this is going to happen. We just don't know when. So right now, the best way to play this is to stay strong and ride through the volatility. But once the news hits, let's say tomorrow happens, Donald Trump signs an executive order, cannabis has been rescheduled from a Schedule 1 drug to a Schedule 3 drug. What's eventually going to happen? Now that that news has set in, it's going to take quarters for that to actually show results. It's marginal differences that we're going to see in these companies' performance. Just because it gets rescheduled doesn't mean that all of these companies are magically going to become great companies. It's not going to happen. This is a terrible industry, not a profitable industry. This is one of those consolidation type of industries. There's only going to be 1 or 2 big players that succeed in this industry. Everyone else will be bought out. Everyone else will go bankrupt. And so do not think you can hold this for the long term thinking that this is going to be some sort of cannabis revolution and you're going to make a lot of money. The time is right now to make the money. The time is to watch these charts, watch the news, watch the volatility. I'm going to keep updating whoever is listening to these videos and watching these videos because I am personally involved in it, and it's very exciting for me to be a part of this. And I can't wait to see how far this goes because the sky is the limit. And we know that when it comes to hype stocks and hype phases, anything is possible and anything can happen. And I'm very excited to be a part of it. But just remember, do not get caught holding the bag. It will be a slow bleed down once we top out. And so for those of you who are trying to trade this is going to be an exciting time. And I wish everybody the best of luck if you are involved in this industry or in any sort of play related to cannabis. Today was a great day for all of us. And so I'm gonna end it right there. If you guys made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I will be back next time with another video updating MSOS or maybe something else. If you guys want me to check out any other stocks or look at any other charts, let me know in the comments and I will try my best to get to those as well. Until then, I will see you guys next time.